Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I am your host, the Night Walker from Horror Heaven77. If you get a chance, please, check out my YouTube page. And if you like horror and you like the stuff I do on here, you're gonna love that. You're gonna love that channel. So, anyway, there's enough of that. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I need everybody to kind of bear with me here for a little bit. This is gonna be kind of interesting. The movie I want to talk about this week is from Troma. It's Cannibal the musical, and it says there, yes, it's from the creators of South Park. And so yeah, I really kind of would like to talk about this now. Hopefully nobody's ready to hit that click off button, turn off the video just yet. But let me explain. So, all right, the movie's written and directed by Trey Parker. Everybody knows, he and Matt Stone went on to do, big things in comedy. They created South Park. They were in David Zucker's movie Basketball. They made movies like Orgasmo, Team America, so on. And, they tried other TV shows. They tried That's My Bush, and then they tried Kenny versus Spenny, which was kind of a jackass kind of takeoff and everything else. But this was the very first thing that they had done that got them, or that tried to get them noticed. And this was long before South Park ever took off. And the story is you have a very young Trey Parker. He's living in Colorado. He and Matt Stone and their other friends like Dian Bachar and Jason McHugh and so many others. And so they're living in Colorado, and he's going to basically he's taking like film school, and he's also learning Japanese and music history and things like that. And so yeah, so he decided that he wanted to make a movie. And if you listen to the bonus features and the interview with Trey Parker on here, even at one point he said that he was going to put it off, and like people were telling, don't put it off, get out there, make your movie, because the longer you put it off, the more you're going to lose momentum to do it. And so they were able to raise some money from investors, and they went out and made their own little movie, and here we go. And unfortunately, like this movie did not take off. It did not really get them noticed or anything like that. It didn't do so hot. They tried taking it to film festivals. I remember Kevin Smith telling a story one time about that. Yeah, he said that apparently, like, Trey and Matt entered Cannibal the musical at the Sundance Film Festival the same year that he entered Clerks. And supposedly it might have been Sundance, might have been another film festival anyway. But yeah, so unfortunately Cannibal didn't get in, but Clerks eventually did. So, but anyway, enough of that. The story pretty much is now, anybody who watches South Park or you listen to any of Trey Parker and Matt Stone's interviews, we know that they're Colorado boys. They pretty much spent most of their lives living in Colorado, and that's what they know. And at one point, Trey Parker decided, he wanted to make a movie about the story of Alfred Packer. Now, Alfred Packer, you can look it up. This is a true story. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact year, but apparently Alfred Packer was going to lead a group of miners into the Colorado Rockies, and that they were gonna find a mining town, and they were gonna mine for gold and things like that. And eventually, apparently Packer didn't know where he was going, and he, they got lost in the winter, and they started to run out of food and supplies, and they were trying to keep from freezing to death. And eventually, Packer ended up, something happened. That's the thing. I think the details are not too well known. I think Packer, he told stories, but I think everybody's kind of like, well, aside from Packer, nobody really knows exactly what went on up in those mountains. But ultimately, Packer was the only one who came back from that party, and then it was revealed that he had ate some of the bodies of the other miners and stuff, so he could survive, because they had no food. And I believe that yeah, he was tried and everything, but I think he was acquitted anyway. I'm sorry. I really should have researched the story before I started doing this video. I really should have. But anyway, so yeah, and he decided he wanted to make a movie about that. But at the same time, though, too, one thing about Trey Parker, and this if you watch South Park or any of the especially like South Park the movie or any of that kind of stuff, Trey Parker is way big into musicals. He created, well, he and Matt Stone they created the musical The Book of Mormon, which became one of the biggest Broadway musical hits in history and stuff. But yeah, so Trey Parker, he's always very much loved musicals and things like that. So, and he decided, well, why not do Alfred Packer the musical? And so, and so they raised the money, they made the movie. Now, watching this movie, you could tell this movie's incredibly low budget. It's, you could tell wasn't filmed on the most, sophisticated film equipment, things like that. But if you can get past kind of some of the technical flaws of this movie, like the sound is a little garbled in some areas, so sometimes it's like, wow, it almost sounds like they're recording their dialogue kind of like with their hands covering their mouths or something. So yeah, some moments of this movie, you can't really hear the dialogue so great, but and then like I said though too, this movie doesn't exactly have this. Don't sit here thinking you're going to get, like something like near a 2K or 4K restoration. You're not. This is, they use pretty primitive, film equipment when they made this movie. But overall, this movie is a lot of fun. There are some good gore sequences. There's, a lot of comedy in this. Um, you know, if you watch this, you could tell that, Parker and Stone are very familiar with horror films and they're very familiar with like the tropes and things like that. But I mean, especially if you already watched South Park, that I've said time and time again, I've said in numerous videos in the past that if you're a horror film fan, South Park is easily one of the best shows you could get into because literally almost every other episode has a horror theme behind it. There's always some kind of horror element to South Park. Always there's zombies or I mean, yeah, they put a comedic spin on everything, like zombies that are brought back from the dead because of Worcestershire sauce, or like you got like Godzilla, but it turns out Godzilla is really Barbara Streisand or something like that. Or, they got like the episode where, the kids can't get off the bus because there's like this tree monster, they'll eat them, and this kid gets swallowed up by it and then spits its chewed up body at the bus window and stuff. So I mean, if you watch South Park, you could definitely tell that Parker and Stone definitely have a love for the horror genre, and it's clear in this movie as well. You could see that they kind of like to play on some of the cliches and things like that. Like they're heading into the mountain and they see an old kind of like an old codger and they go up to him, excuse me, can you help point us the right way to Breckenridge and everything? And he's doing the Ralph from Friday the 13th, it's like, you're doomed. You're all doomed and things like that. Um, but yeah, there's some pretty good gore scenes. There's some pretty good, stuff like that. And the thing is, and I got to admit, I'm not the world's biggest fan of musicals. I got to be honest with you. I mean, every once in a great while, like something will come along that I enjoy, something like Rocky Horror Picture Show or something like that. But yeah, I guess maybe like Nightmare Before Christmas could be considered kind of a musical, but I'm not the biggest fan of musicals. But this one here, actually, it's clear that Parker knows musicals. He knows the formula of musicals. He knows what works, what doesn't work. Um, and the music in this is very well done. And I believe Parker, maybe Stone, and some of the other friends of his, they help collaborate. But I do believe that Trey Parker pretty much wrote and composed all the songs for this movie. And that's the thing, it's like if he honestly, if if Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want them to start taking their songs seriously. I like their funny songs, I like, America, fuck yeah, things like that, or I'm so lonely or blame Canada or something like that. I mean, it's clear that Trey Parker is a very talented songwriter. He and Matt Stone, they're very good and very talented at creating good songs, and this movie just exemplifies that. The music in this movie actually is very catchy. The songs are a lot of fun to listen to, and some of them are, some of them are, side splitting funny. You have the song, like your eyes, your smile made my little life worthwhile. There's nothing I couldn't do when I was on top of you, or something like that. Or like the other song, like that's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. We had a little luck and we want a little more. So the songs in here are actually very catchy. They're fun. I actually wouldn't mind if there was a way to get a soundtrack to this. I need to look into that because actually the songs on here are fun. But um, it's kind of funny that it says written and directed by Trey Parker, but obviously that's Trey Parker right there playing Alfred Packer, and but he's his starring credit is listed as Juan Schwartz, so that works, right? Um, but honestly, yeah, this movie is a lot of fun, and I actually enjoy this movie. I think give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more funny than bloody or gory or scary, but if you don't mind it, but yeah, I really do. I recommend this movie. It's so much fun, and it's easy to watch. It's a good if you want to call it a time waster, call it a time waster. But like I said, this movie's got one of the best jokes in the movie. Sorry, I'm trying not to give away too much, but one of the best jokes in the movie is one of the characters keeps getting it's like he keeps getting killed, but he just keeps coming back. Every time you turn around, it's like he's getting like a meat cleaver of the face, and then you turn around, and he's like, and he just keeps coming back and everything else, and they're at one point they're like trying to fight, like they're trying to grab anything to fight him off and everything, so they grab like snowballs and start hitting him with snowballs and things like that. So it's funny, it's crazy, it's goofy, but it really is a lot of fun, and I honestly recommend this. This one here. Actually, I have I know it's crazy, but I do have here's the single disc edition that came with this one, and I got the dual disc edition. So I recommend the 2-disc edition. That one's more bonus features. The picture's a little bit better remastered and things like that. So I would definitely recommend getting the 2-disc edition of this. But if you're a fan of South Park and you're a fan of horror comedies and horror comedy musicals and things like that, I would definitely say give Cannibal the Musical a try. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. Good stuff. So anyway, if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like on the video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different video every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. We have great guys. They're all doing great stuff, and good reviews and interesting, insightful. So yeah, give everybody a chance. Check them out. So until next week, this is the Nightwalker, and I'll see you later.